Welcome to Leadership and Loyalty Tips for Executives and for entrepreneurs and for you, a leader. On this show, I'm going to take a look at the advancements in science and technology and how that gets to be a problem when it comes to succession in business. All right, so first off, welcome to the show. It's good to have you here. Thanks for joining us. If you're new to the show, it's great to have you here. Thanks for joining us, and thank you for sharing the show with everybody you know. If you're a regular, good to have you here. Thanks for making us number one in the Fortune 500 category and a bunch of other great categories. And make sure you keep us relevant. Get yourself over to iTunes, rate, review, and share the show. We always appreciate that. All right, so let's jump in here. Succession. Whether it's in a family business or whether it's in a form of business like a book of business, that transition has changed enormously. It has changed dramatically because there was a time when it was as simple as this is how we do it. It's been incredibly successful. There's nothing to argue with. This is how we do business. And, you know, the young buck coming in, the next generation coming in, could have had their own ideas, but there really was no way to argue with, you know what, dad, granddad, mom, grandma, whatever it is right. They've had this business running for the last 30, 40, 80, 100 years. Got to do it the way they do it because it works. But the world is really, I mean, I know people have said this before, but the world is a vastly different place because of technology. Things are changing so fast now in ways that they've never been before. If I was thinking about my own business and the process of succession and thinking about when I came into this business, into this speaking and consulting business, back in those days, if you wanted to learn from me, then or wanted to hear me speak, you had to hire me to come in, you had to pay to fly in, and you would sit in the audience while I would share what it is that I share. Today, right here on iTunes or on YouTube or on one of the other outlets, you can get that initial information absolutely free. 30 years ago, I could not see that technology. If somebody had said to me, you're going to be giving large chunks of high quality, high value intellectual property out to the world at no fee whatsoever, I'd have said that's ridiculous. Nobody's going to do that. No speaker or no consultant, no expert is ever going to agree to that. But guess what? We all do. We all do it every single day. We could have argued back then, this model works, because it did. That was how we did business. But the technology has changed. And if we're rigid and stuck in the way that we run this particular business, so this family business that's run in the way that it's been running for 30 or 40 or whatever number of years, and we stick to that, not only are we going to get lost in the shuffle, but we're likely going to destroy the family itself. Let me just tell you what I mean by that in two ways. First of all, if you're a present generation leader, even a Gen Xer or a baby boomer, you can likely remember this pillar of business in the Fortune 500 category by the name of Kodak. Yes, Kodak. Those of us who are over 40 can remember Kodak very well. You put Kodak film in your camera. And Kodak had all of their money. They owned a lot of silver mines because they used silver in the producing of the film. And they produced all this film and they produced it for everybody. They produced it for the movie industry. They produced it for you and I to use in our cameras. And it was the way they did business. It worked. It made them enormously successful for probably close to 100 years. And then new technology came. Now, what was that new technology? Well, you know what it was. It was digital cameras. But here's what you probably don't know is that Kodak actually owned the technology for digital cameras. They had the very first patent. It was one of their guys who came up with it. What did they do? They put it on display. They never did anything with it. They kept backing old technology. excuse me, they kept backing old technology, never stepping into the future. They said this is the way they do it, and that's the way it's going to be. It's worked. They're right. But what works can be a recipe for failure if you don't get ahead of the technology. So the relation to this in family business, in succession, is this. You may not like what the next gen leaders are coming in with. You may think that it doesn't work, but that's because you're in a model of what did work. They're thinking a model of what will work, future. And it's not good enough for us in business to simply react to what's happening. If you want to take a look at that, it's real simple. Take a look at Blockbuster. Take a look at yellow cabs. Take a look at any number of those kinds of things that have simply disappeared. They're no longer relevant. Cable TV is already on the way out. Barnes and Noble, pretty much gone. If you don't embrace the technology the next gen leaders are coming in with, they have the foresight, they have the ability to see where technology can be applied that you may never have thought about. Again, Airbnb, now the largest company in the world for places to stay. They don't own a property. They don't own a single property. Isn't that amazing? Uber, the largest cab company in the world, don't own a car. Getting ahead of that technology is vital to your business and to your growth. And I'm suggesting to you that you sit down with your next gen leaders, with those people who are coming up who are, in all likelihood, millennials or maybe even the younger Gen Xers, who are seeing the technology ahead of time. Because if you don't do this, this could be the breaking point of your business and the breaking point of your family. Because family and business are tied together, particularly in family business. This is Dov Baron, founder of Full Monty Leadership. I want to thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sharing the show with everybody you know. And remember, help us to stay relevant. Get yourself over to iTunes, rate and review the show. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, stay curious, my friend. Stay curious.